All right. Welcome everyone. This is a series of videos designed to help you with the Outlaw 250 plane build. Okay, so I'm going to try to walk through the build with you step by step. This plane isn't terribly complicated, so that's really nice. And I can help in class as well, but this video is meant to help you, um, if you're at home or you just want to review things by yourself when you're not in class or not in the lab. Hopefully this helps to give you the instruction you need. Okay. So here on the table I have basically what you'll receive as far as the structure of the plane. This is all the foam board that's been cut out for you ahead of time. Okay, and the two camera views are kind of meant to help you see in 3D, I guess, with this one here, and then under here to help you see things maybe a little more up close. I don't have the best camera setup, unfortunately, but I think this will be okay, so we'll give it a shot. All right, so here again I have the piece, the foam board for the plane that's been cut out. One of our student workers cut this out for me ahead of time during the semester, and all the pieces should be present. They should all be kind of taped in with these little pieces of tape. They will fall out if you take the tape off, of course, and that just is from the laser cutting. When the laser cuts them out, they will fall out of the other piece of foam. So don't lose them. If you do lose them, it's not terribly hard to make another one, but it will require some effort and time. Okay, so here on the foam board, we have all the different pieces and shapes. I can't get this camera high enough to see everything, unfortunately. It's too low, too short. But we're going to start kind of step by step and take some of these pieces out of the foam and then get a idea of what they're for so we can identify them and use them later on. Okay, so we can start peeling off some foam over here in the upper right hand corner first of all, so you can kind of get that in the camera a little bit. So this area here, this piece here is what we're going to be pulling out first. That's going to be our fuselage piece. Okay, a little fuselage pods. I'm just going to pull off the tape here. We'll get this done pretty quick, hopefully. Okay, once I peel that out, the piece should just fall out of the foam, basically. Okay, get the tape off to the side here. All right, so there's our piece right here. Okay, that's our fuselage pod. And we're going to fold that up later, but there's one piece. Okay, and we'll go through, I'm going to pull these other pieces out, and then we'll go through and identify them. Okay, we'll pause there for a second. All right, just a note as you're pulling all these pieces out of the foam, if you have the tape and you peel it kind of away from the piece or to the outside of the piece, that'll be better because sometimes the paper on the foam can get caught in the tape and start ripping up. If I were to start peeling this side and peel it off this way, that's what I don't want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and peel it off from the inside of the piece towards the outside. It'd be better. Try not to dent the foam too much with your fingers or push on it too hard. It's not a huge deal, but it's better to keep it nice and in good quality there. So I'll get these last couple pieces off. We'll peel those out. Okay, just be aware the foam when it's cut with a laser. Okay, sometimes there'll be spots that don't quite pop out or just fall out of the main foam board. You might have to use one of the razor blades and go around the edge a little bit to get it to pop out all the way. That's just how it goes sometimes. It's not a big deal. You just run along the line there, cut whatever paper is left kind of hanging on to it, and it will fall out. Okay. Also be aware the edges of the foam are actually pretty sharp for some nasty paper cuts, so the foam board paper there will give you a nice slice if you run your finger along, so don't do that. Okay, try to avoid that. The paper cuts are no fun, of course. Okay, so we've got all of our pieces pretty much here. I got my wing piece. We already saw the pod piece. I have the elevator. Okay, these two triangle pieces that kind of form the empennage of the plane. Okay, this cutout actually comes out of the wing. Okay, you don't actually need to keep that. It's for where the propeller is going to sit. So you don't need to keep this piece for anything. It was just taped into mine, but don't worry about keeping it. Okay, and then we have a couple of sorted squares. Should have like 3 different squares. Okay, and then these 2 longer rectangular pieces. And we put it all up on camera, but I'm not sure it would fit. Maybe. So we get to fit up here so you can see everything at the same time. Oh, maybe we'll get it. Okay, all those pieces there, plus, of course, the wing. That's pretty good to fit that all on camera. Here we go. Okay, so there's all our pieces popped out, and so we can start to kind of figure out how this is going to work, how this is going to appear when the plane is finished. Let me grab a semi-finished model for you to see real quick, and we'll kind of get the idea of where this is going. This model's been nearly finished, all except for the top of the fuselage pod here. So this area here is typically covered, right, with these little square pieces, actually. But you can kind of get an idea that's not a very big plane. You can kind of see it up here on this camera though in the corner. Um, right here, it's a small plane. The motor sits in the back here in the slot, okay, right in here. And then the electronics and stuff are kind of housed up here in this little pod. So pretty simple build, one sheet of foam, not too bad. I'm going to go through some of the foam building techniques and things like that, and then we'll get to the electronics at the end when we're ready to kind of finish up the plane. So to start off with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the pod a little bit first. Okay. So the pod here looks like this. It's going to fold up into a kind of a fuselage shape. And on this piece of foam, let's zoom in a little bit here, you have these two slots, right, curved here, and then these lines here, and then there's two like skinny kind of slots right here. So these skinny slots are meant to be peeled out of the foam to allow us to fold the sides up into kind of a rectangular shape. This is a technique that's really common to flight test planes. The Outlaw is not a flight test plane, but this technique is common to flight test planes, so this will give you some good practice for your FT Explorer or whatever other flight test planes you might be interested in building. Okay, so to get the foam out of here, what I need to do is kind of break this out a little bit. Just kind of grab with my thumb there, and then I need to break out the other side too. Okay, once it's broken out all the way, I can kind of fold the foam over like this. See that little ridge of foam sticking out there? And once I do that, I can just kind of peel it away with my fingers. So I'm going to just kind of pull on that. See it kind of coming off there. Nice and clean. It comes off the paper on the other side. Kind of peel that out there. There we go. And now we have a void right there where the foam piece used to be. You don't cut it. We don't need to cut anything. We're still going to leave the paper on the back. We'll do that on both sides though. Go ahead and peel this side out as well. Okay, so again, I'm just kind of folding it over 180 degrees. It helps me kind of pop this up, and then it makes it easy to grab for me there. Okay. So if we look at this plane, you can kind of, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Let's see if we can move the dot cam up enough to see this. There we go. This one, like I said, maybe this isn't the 100% best made plane ever. This was my test run to try to figure out how this worked before I made the video. But you see the sides here come down next to the bottom of the pod. Okay, so next to the bottom of the pod. So I'm making a big deal about that because in the flight test planes, they have two folds they use a lot. Okay, there's an A fold and a B fold. And the A fold means above. So if I were to fold these up here like this and have them be above the bottom piece, that would be called an A fold. And if I have them come up and go beside the bottom piece, hopefully you can see that difference there. That's called the B fold. B for beside, A for above, I suppose. Okay. Now that changes the dimensions of the pod, right? Now it's wider and shorter, whereas if I put them on top, it's narrower this way and taller. And that's really important when you're fitting things together. If it's the wrong width or height, it's not going to fit. So look at this Outlaw here. We can see that it is a beside fold. Okay. So we're going to be doing that. And we're going to be bringing the sides up beside the bottom. So like this. Okay, it's pretty easy to do it just like that. Make sure you test fit a little bit. Okay, that looks good. Looks good. Yeah, awesome. Perfect. Great. Okay. At this point, you can grab yourself one of these 90-degree squares like this in Classroom, or you can use a textbook, really anything that's like a 90-degree shape. And what you're going to do with that is once you apply the glue here, you're going to fold this up into the beside. Just do one half at a time. Put this into the beside spot there after you've applied some hot glue. Okay. And then you will hold this like this. Okay. I see that on camera there on this other camera up in the left-hand corner. It will help us to keep this fold here at 90 degrees instead of being too far in or too far out, and then it doesn't fit right. Okay. So again, you're going to grab your hot glue gun. Let me get mine here. And you're going to take the nozzle of the glue gun. You're going to apply a nice bead of glue. You're not going to start all the way at the end. Let's zoom in a little bit here. You're not going to start all the way over here. Give yourself about a 1/4 inch. Maybe start right there and then go right to about there, ending about a 1/4 inch short. You then take this piece, you fold it up into the beside configuration, making sure you press down on the table so it doesn't end up like this or something. Okay, you want it to be all the way down beside, not up kind of part way like that. Push down the table, grab your 90-degree square or whatever you're using, push down and into the square and hold that until it feels like it's dry, at least 30 seconds or so. These glue guns get pretty hot, so they take a little bit longer to cool than a colder glue gun, if that makes sense. So we'll do that for this side, and then we'll do that same thing with the beside fold for the other side, and what you end up with is a little shape kind of like this, and the sides will be glued. Okay, so we'll pause at this point for that.